Hey, what's going on, guys? Biot-Savart here. Gonna give you another tier list, this time for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 2011. This is only going to be the base game because I'm afraid I didn't. By 2011, the Call of Duty fatigue had set in, and I never got around to buying any of the DLC for Modern Warfare 3. This was my last ever Call of Duty. I've played a little bit of Warzone, but that's it. Played a little bit of Black Ops 2, courtesy of my friend's Steam Family Library, but this was pretty much considered to be my last Call of Duty, and it was fun while it lasted. So let's go ahead and rank these base multiplayer maps. I've got them in alphabetical order here. So let's start with Arcaden. I'm going to put Arcaden in S. This is, right off the bat, one of the best maps of the game. It plays very fun. There's verticality involved. There's underneath the shopping mall and the top level of the shopping mall. That's a lot of strategy involved. It gives the map a lot of variety. There's good flanking too. I never felt like I was stuck at a choke point like I am in a certain other map, which I'll get to. There's also good generally sight lines. It's pretty accessible to assault rifles, LMGs, and submachine guns. So Arcaden is going to get the S tier from me for Modern Warfare 3 maps, relative to all Modern Warfare 3 maps, not relative to Modern Warfare 2 or 1 maps here. So up next is Bakara. I have it in B tier. It's a decent map. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's a little unexciting. It reminds me of a little bit of Rundown in Modern Warfare 2, but with like the places to camp. I know there's that one building. There are those two buildings by the downed helicopter, one on both sides. Those are decent enough places to camp. There's also another top one at the top of the hill that looks at the helicopter directly. Those are the three buildings that look like they're made for camping. And the sight lines are pretty good, yeah, pretty decent power positions, but they're far from great. Also, like, the flanking is decent, not great. The middle of the map is kind of a mess. There's like that one large building in the middle that you can make a revolution around, and it seems like I'm always frustratedly losing around that building. I don't know why. There's an interesting flank to this map on the one side, the closed off side. There's like a building in construction, which I find to be pretty interesting. That is a great long sight line for snipers and LMGs. So that's keeping Bakara from C tier, because otherwise this is almost always a pretty boring map. I don't know what could be made better about it, but there's Bakara for you. So Bootleg I have in the A tier. It's a very good map. I always enjoy it. Always fun flanking on there. There's a bit of a power position problem similar to Karachi from Modern Warfare 2, where on top of the staircase in the middle of the map, it seems like that position is sometimes unassailable if somebody's up there. Like, you'll seemingly aim there, but they'll only be showing their head, and you've got your whole body exposed out on the street there. Also, there's like little cover from the street, so that's also a problem. But other than that, that rarely happens, and when it does, it doesn't take away from my satisfaction of the other two lanes of the map. There's a long street lane, which has pretty good cover, and there's a market lane, which has pretty good cover. There's also that choke point, which is a lot of fun to hold and fight through. The underneath that aluminum staircase, there's that hallway. A lot of good fights have happened there over the years. Overall, a pretty good time on Bootleg. Um, so moving on to Carbon here, I have it in the B tier. Um, I I don't want to put it in the C tier because it's not that bad, but this is the map that I was referring to when I say I feel like I get stuck and I can't flank around sometimes. Because one of the flanks is like a hill that leads into this little building on the side, but to get there, you have to pass through a wide open area. And if somebody's watching that, like, you're pretty much done for already. It's also very easy to hold because somebody could just go prone in that building on the side of the map. Also, Like the middle of the map is very annoying. There's like four different places. It feels like at any given moment somebody could just peek out and destroy you from wherever you are. Um, there's verticality in the middle of the map. Like there is that catwalk, but it feels like when I go up there, there's no chance of me making it to the other side. There's always somebody who sees me from down below or elsewhere that I just didn't see because there's too many places to check. The map is also very small, so it's very difficult to actually do all that well in unless you've got a good team. If you've got a bad team, this map is just miserable to play because you can't. It feels like you can't flank because the besides the one flank on the hill leading down into the building or vice versa, the other map is a much more. The other side of the map is much more open, yeah, but there's also like three different corners somebody can camp in by that like power position up top that overlooks the middle of the map, which is not a bad spot, but it feels like there's also three positions that you could be shot from at any given moment. This seems just a very difficult map to do well in, especially when you're up against people who know what they're doing on Carbon. Um, but besides that, it's not too difficult to do well in. The close quarters of the building in the middle is pretty fun. The map is almost entirely close quarters. The map is not very large, and I don't want to say it's a bad map. I enjoy it well enough to put it in the B tier. So up next is Dome. I have Dome in the C tier. This is a huge joke. This is like if Rust was slightly better. I mean, Dome is such a bad map. I don't know who enjoys this unironically. If you want to actually play Modern Warfare 3, this map is so bad. People, like, right from the start of the game, you get flashbangs in your face. I mean, it's great to get Recon Pro, but it's very annoying to actually play. Um, the the spawns are terrible. I mean, the map is very small. There's like in the actual dome itself, there is that cool catwalk that you can walk along that grants you some verticality and advanced sight lines. But you're not long for this world on dome, so that doesn't last long. That's holding it back. It seems like there's a lot of annoying corners to camp in, especially that one building, that one bunker underground. It's like there's a spot in the back corner that you can't see them in, but they can see you so clearly. I find that very annoying. There's nothing but infinite grenade spam. The shotguns on this map are annoying to die to. Everything's so close quarters. It's much worse than Carbon. I feel comfortable putting this in the C tier. Like if you don't care to actually play Modern Warfare 3 for what it is, then I can see you enjoying Dome if you want to just turn your brain off and run around like a crazed chicken or something. But Dome is just a bad map, the worst in the game. So moving on to Downturn. Downturn is like not as bad as people remember it to be. I have it right about at the same level as Dome. It's less annoying, but it's much more boring. I imagine like on 9v9 Ground Wars, Downturn is fun, but on 6v6s, the map plays very slowly. Um, it's very difficult to see people on Downturn. The entire map seems pretty gray. There's also a lot of rubble because the map takes place in destroyed New York City. As you can tell by the name, Downturn refers to the economy, and New York City is a major economic hub of the United States. There's also that one building in the middle where it seems like it forms a T, and like it's decent enough to play in there, which is what's keeping this map from being in the D tier. Like the maps are decent enough to play. All of these Modern Warfare 3 maps are a far cry from Modern Warfare 2 maps. I mean, take everything a tier down from Modern Warfare 2 if you were to compare those. Um, but nonetheless, Downturn, not as bad as people remember. There is some decent flanking and some good fun to be had here. A lot of annoying cars in the way, though. It'd be nice if there was a little bit less rubble on the map. And moving on to Fallen, I'm putting this in B. I enjoyed Fallen a decent amount. It's not too frustrating of a map. Great flanking opportunities, great power positions in that one building at the top there. That's a lot of fun. Um, some of the flanks are weirdly much longer than they need to be. Like you can go all around. Like you can go behind that playground back there. Weirdly enough, and there's almost nobody there ever, but it's a great flank. I mean, nobody's expecting it from there ever. So credit where it's due. Besides that, it's a little bit like Rundown, where you got the two buildings looking at each other from very far away. If you like that, um, there's also a lot of rubble in the middle of this map. Not as bad as Downturn though, but it can be difficult to see people sometimes, which is what keeps this from being an A tier map. But other than that, Fallen is a middle of the road map. It's decent enough. I had fun playing it. Moving on to Hard Hat, I'm putting this in the A tier. I enjoyed Hard Hat a lot. It usually plays pretty fast. Uh, uh, Usually you can dominate if you hold a position across a long sight line, but not too long. The, what stands out about Hard Hat, everybody remembers this, is that tunnel in the middle. You can go through there, and heaven knows if you'll survive the next 3 seconds, because somebody could be watching that, somebody could be camping up there. But whenever that occurs, I always enjoy going about the two flanks of the map, going around the large building that goes downhill where there are two paths, as well as the open area over there by all the construction equipment being left out. Those lend themselves well to this map. I enjoy it a lot. I never feel like I'm trapped in Hard Hat. The sight lines are long enough and there's good enough cover that I almost always enjoy playing Hard Hat. It's a great fun time. Um, of course, it's right around. It's not as fun as Arcaden because there's no verticality anywhere. It's all at the same level pretty much. I mean, there's like hills that overwatch other things, but eh, those are more annoying than they are fun to play with. The spawns are also weirdly bad on this map. I want to say like people will weirdly spawn like where your teammates are. It would seem like you'd think you had more time between people flipping spawns, but you'll often get surprised in the middle of the map. Like people will be behind you when you're not expecting it, or you expect it to have a little bit more time to just I don't know reload, and there they are already. See, I mean, the thing is, Modern Warfare 3 was um, very MP7 focused. So people with SMGs move fast and they aim down sights and move at full speed, pretty much. So people are already there when you're not expecting them on Hard Hat, which can be a little annoying. But other than that, a great time on Hard Hat. So Interchange, I'm putting this in the C tier. I suspect other people like this more than me. I don't really understand Interchange. It's like a grid type, like broken bridge area. Um, a few choke points, a lot of rubble. In my opinion, this map is not much better than Downturn. It is better than Downturn by a little bit, but not a whole lot, quite honestly. I don't know why people like Interchange so much. Um, there's good flanking, yeah, but it's also very difficult to see people at these long sight lines. I don't know why, but like people just blend in with the background on Interchange. The middle is very annoying. Feels like you can't ever hold anything because you're always getting flanked. Uh, this is a very mid tier map. I did not enjoy Interchange all that much. It's not a very exciting map and kind of ugly, just like Downturn. So moving on to Lockdown, I have it in the A tier. Lockdown is great. Um, it reminds me a lot of Skid Row from Modern Warfare 2, which I had a great time in. Um, Although it suffers from a little bit of the same problem as Hard Hat, where it feels like I want to move up and I'm getting flanked whenever I move up 10 meters because the sight lines are so ever present. From there's that long corridor that leads into the building, into the other long corridor. There's that long walkway. Feels like you can't really hang out there too long because sight lines from the streets are twofold, and you don't have much time to until they spawn and just come swarming at you from those directions. That corridor is a pretty easy hold. I mean, it's like shooting a fish in a barrel. Once people walk through that doorway, it's very difficult to actually beat that position. when you're holding it, so that feels good. But you never feel trapped because the flanking on this map is very good. I should note that Lockdown is the one map that I have gotten a Moab on. I got it with a P90 back in 2012, back when Modern Warfare 3 was actually in its heyday. It was its turn on the life cycle of Call of Duties. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Credit where it's due to Lockdown. Um, but a lot of the map is just kind of random chance. You need people to not be looking at your particular flank when you're playing Lockdown, which is very difficult to do. It's pretty difficult to have a streak for a long time. Also, the choke points just seem to lend themselves to explosives, so you're also pretty much forced to use blast shield on Lockdown. There's also that building at the other corner of the street. That's a pretty good power position. You can view multiple sight lines from it. Great time. Lockdown, I like a lot. I'm putting it in the A tier. So up next is Mission. I also have this in the A tier. A lot of fun variety on Mission. A lot of the vertical part in the middle is very fun to play through. Also reminds me of Skid Row a lot. Close quarters, quick gunfights. You got to be aiming down your corners around those sight lines. And the flanking is good enough. Like, why do I say good enough? The sniping can be annoying on this map because the sightlines are so long and the snipers can hide in such difficult to see places. Like out there on the lower flank, the snipers can hide behind the cover of the like platform back there. Very difficult to see them. There's also that like refrigerator turned sideways they can hide behind up there on the staircase. Very difficult to see people. And on the higher flank, it's pretty difficult to peek that corner and if somebody's waiting for you if you want to flank. There's also that weird flank underneath the bridge, that like sewer line or something, that ravine, that opens up the map a little bit more. I think this is the only map with a fourth lane to it, so that's pretty interesting. That's definitely a plus for Mission. Admittedly did not ever use the downstairs valley enough, but that definitely added to the replayability of Mission. Good times there. So credit where it's due to Mission. Not a whole lot of complaining here. Um, Seemingly, when you're up by the like top flanks start, it's seemingly difficult to hold that position because people will spawn both across the catwalk and down the hill to your right. And you can look down, but it seems like you can get shot from 3 different places at any moment. So that's a difficult position to hold, but still fun times on Mission. So Outpost, I have in the A tier as well. I generally enjoy playing Outpost. There's not a whole lot to complain about. The sightlines seem medium range. Strangely enough, they don't seem long and they don't seem short. The only long sightline I can think of is the sniper's nest in that bunker across the map to the other building. That seems like a very long sightline, much longer than um, what was I saying? Bakara's sightlines or Fallen is about the same length as the Fallen sightline actually, from the top building with the 2 windows to the building far away from it with the 1 window that can see it. Uh, so, but Outpost feels like there's 3 good lanes for you to go into anytime. They never feel that unfair because even the 1 lane that has the Jeep in the middle that leads to that bunker or goes away from it, it feels like that Jeep is great cover, and you never feel naked when walking out there. You never feel entirely coverless. Down the middle, there's that hill, which is a power position, but it doesn't feel unbeatable because there's little cover. There's that one barrel, I think, turned sideways, and that's it. The other flank, where all the like little buildings are, the downstairs area by the staircases, there's not a whole lot going on out there. I don't know what the point of that flank is. I almost never go there, but it's there. But that doesn't hold Outpost back. It's a very good snow map, which is refreshing because for snow maps, people usually have a bad taste in their mouths from Derail from Modern Warfare 2. But Outpost I like a lot. I I am confident in saying I like it more than Bakara, Carbon, and Fallen. So there's that. Up next is Resistance, the other S tier map. I like Resistance a lot. It plays very well, plays very smoothly, has medium sightlines, and always fun to flank or go through the middle of. A lot of fun playing Resistance. Seems like you can use any gun and succeed. I think that makes for a great Call of Duty map. Same for Arcade. You can seemingly use any gun and succeed. And um, I don't know what can be made worse about Resistance. What don't I like about Resistance? Um, that one building in the middle kind of is annoying if somebody's camping in it, but I never feel like I have to go in there because that's like the fourth lane of the map. You can always go through that wooden gate to go around, and that never seems insurmountable. Um, yeah, this map seems like it has four lanes, much like Arcaden. It seems like it has four lanes, if not more. So credit where it's due. This is one of the better maps, one of the two S tier maps I have in Modern Warfare 3 2011. Not a whole lot to complain about Resistance. It always feels fair, I would say. Um, Even that staircase that the picture of Resistance here seems to be taken from doesn't seem that insurmountable. I've never had that tough of a time because if you're downstairs, you can also hide behind the cars back there and get the jump on somebody. So it doesn't seem insurmountable, that choke point. All right, so Seatown is up next, and I have Seatown in the A tier. I have it at about the same level as all of these. Close quarters, very fun. Reminds me a lot of Bootleg if it was less green. Um, Always seems fun to navigate, fun to flank. There's verticality in the buildings in the middle. Those are always fun to use a submachine gun or shotgun in. Great times. It can be annoying when people camp up there with equipment. That's annoying. Also, the thing is that you pretty much have to use dead silence if you're moving through those buildings because your footsteps are very loud through those buildings. I've noticed that can be a little annoying if you notice somebody's using SitRep Pro. I mean, they pretty much know exactly where you are. And also, the downstairs has some annoying camping spots. I wish Infinity Ward got rid of those. It's always annoying to walk in there and think you're going to give the enemy a piece of your mind, and then, oh, look at that, somebody's camping in a corner. Oh, as soon as you walk in, not very fun. And they know to camp there because that's those two buildings are a high traffic area right there in the middle of the map. Also, what's holding this map back is underneath those two buildings. There's that marketplace, and there's the two ends of the marketplace. There's the L-shaped marketplace, like underneath buildings, and the linear area by the marketplace. The linear one is not bad. There's an annoying corner that you can camp and shoot people as they walk by. That's annoying. But the L-shaped one is very annoying because it's very dark and gray, and it's hard to see anybody in there. Like you can lay down there, and if you've got Assassin Pro, you pretty much got free kills down the hallway there. If you've got an LMG or sniper rifle, it feels like it never seemed fair when somebody was doing that. Because I don't know about you, but I could never see them very well. All right, moving on to Underground here. I have Underground in the A tier. It's about the same level as these other maps. These are all very good. Underground feels like it has multiple lanes. Feels like you're never trapped. You've got great flanking opportunities. Some of the choke points are annoying, like inside the building. Inside the flank that is an interior one feels annoying because there's like multiple paths and multiple choke points on which you can get stuck on. That's holding Underground back. Also, for whatever reason, I don't know how to measure this, but Underground always feels kind of boring to play. Like there's seemingly not a lot of replayability on Underground. It seems like you're massively incentivized to camp the large catwalk above the train station or camp something else. But besides that, it's decent enough. The sightlines all seem to be close or medium range, which is fun, but this map is bad for sniping. A bit of a shame. Also, the outside area where this picture is taken from, very wide open, not a lot of cover out there if you wanted to move out there. Feels like it's very difficult to overcome somebody watching that sightline, which doesn't seem fair if you spent the past 20 seconds trying to get there and trying to flank around. That's not a whole lot of fun. That's what's holding this map from being an S tier. Otherwise, a great map underground. Okay, Village, our last map. I have it also in the A tier. A lot of A tier maps. I can't complain much about Village. It plays as well as the other 7 A tier maps. Uh, let's see there. It has 3 lanes, but it also has that little underneath the bridge flanking lane, which is exciting. I found that to be a very good addition to Village. You never feel like you're trapped one way or the other. It feels like you can surprise people often by coming in through that fourth horizontal lane. Yeah, that's strange. I think this is the only map in Modern Warfare 3 with a horizontal lane to it down the middle. That's very interesting. So credit where it's due to Village. I have it in the A tier. Um, there's that one power position, a lot of fun to hold. That also has a weird counter. I recently learned that if you stand up on 2 cardboard boxes by the spawn, you can actually see who's up there through like a gap in the tree line. So credit where it's due to Village. You never feel like that's an insurmountable position. If you know somebody's up there, you can just get on those 2 boxes and you have a clear shot at them. You can also shoot back if you know where to look if you're at the power position anyway, but it's kind of obscured by trees, so it's difficult. But Village, great times all around. Um, feels like this map, I don't know, would be better in Ground War than Team Deathmatch, quite honestly, but feels like it runs just a little too slowly for my liking in Team Deathmatch. Or it feels like people are inclined to camp too much on Village a little bit for my liking, but other than that, plays very well, very exciting to play. Weirdly more exciting to play than Underground. I don't know how to measure that, but it's just a gut feeling of mine. You'll notice I don't have any D tier maps here. That is not on accident. I was gonna put Dome down there because it's massively frustrating and a massive joke. It feels like, but it's fun enough. All these maps they're fun enough. Like there aren't any so massively overpowered spots on any of these. I don't think that it feels like when I'm there, like this map goes into the S tier. But when somebody else is there, like that's so annoying. Like Karachi, it felt like there were such power positions that made the map more annoying than fun. But all right, that's going to be it for my Modern Warfare 3 map tier list. No DLC maps. Sorry about that. I never got around to those. I thought by that point I was 14 years old and thought Modern Warfare 3 was mostly a waste of money at that point. Or how old was I? I was 14, 15 by the time I decided this is going to be my last Call of Duty, but good times nonetheless on Modern Warfare 3. All right, guys, thanks for watching.